Coming up tonight, the Attorney General warning that COVID-19 remains a threat. Meanwhile, a former minister slams this weekend's beach closure, and a popular restaurant insists that it is enforcing social distancing.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News, and thanks for joining us. I'm Jared Higgs. Topping news tonight, Attorney General Carl Bethel continued to make a case for the extension of COVID-19 emergency orders today, asserting that while the MINNIS administration has curbed the spread of COVID-19, the virus has not been eliminated. He called COVID-19 an even bigger threat now that the country has reopened. This, as the opposition insisted, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert MINNIS has been far from competent when it comes to the emergency powers. Jasmine Brown reports.
The threat now, though, is exponentially increased because of the urgent need to reopen our economy.
Senators met to debate a resolution to approve the continuance of the COVID-19 emergency powers. Bethel told senators the Prime Minister's revelation that there were 2 new confirmed cases on Grand Bahama prove the Bahamas is still in the danger zone when it comes to COVID-19. He says it was a wake-up call.
The fact is, the COVID virus apparently is still here in some form or fashion.
But opposition Senator Michael Darville insisted the PM needs to be weaned off the emergency powers, as he insisted MINNIS, who is the competent authority, has too much power. Darville insisted it is a threat to democracy.
Yes, we believe that some of the ideas as the Prime Minister's personal feelings are not based on science. Madam President, from the look of it, our Prime Minister's apparent addiction to these sweeping powers to use as he pleases, applying harsh measures on some areas of businesses' activities and relaxing others as he sees fit without any epidemiological evidence, causes us on this side and the public at large to question his logic and his intentions. Madam President, Bahamians are not stupid.
The PLP senator said not only is he concerned about the powers now under the PM's control, he is also concerned about the lack of accountability. Darville insisted that MINNIS has yet to properly explain the actions being taken, like the decision to close beaches on New Providence and Grand Bahama.
He has proven himself unwillingly to be accountable to the Bahamian people, the media, and yes, this Parliament, with the powers bestowed upon him in the fight against COVID-19. His lack of accountability to the Bahamian people under these emergency orders is clear by anyone who could see that they are being abused.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Thanks, Jasmine. Well, St. Anne's Member of Parliament Brent Simonet questioning the decision to close beaches this Independence weekend. According to Simonet, the move is a public relations nightmare. Berthy McDermott reports.
St. Anne's MP Brent Simonet blasting the Prime Minister's decision to close beaches this weekend, charging that it doesn't add up. In his contribution to the resolution to extend the COVID-19 emergency powers order, Simonet questioned if there is an underlying reason for the decision that wasn't made public.
There is no current threat of community spread. So if I'm wrong on that, someone can correct me. So I'm a little at nerve's edge as why the virus will not find the beach on Eleuthera or the beach on Acklands, but it'll find the beach in Grand Bahama and Nassau. Tomorrow, a pile of people, if I can use that word, are going to jump on a plane and go to a number of our family islands and go to the beach. And they're going to come back to Nassau on Sunday, because those beaches are open.
Simonet called for the Prime Minister to apply his powers as the competent authority in a more consistent way. On Monday, Dr. MINNIS announced that public beaches and parks will be closed on New Providence and Grand Bahama from July 9th to July 13th, 1 week after they reopened. Simonet, who resigned as Minister of Financial Services, Trade and Industry and Immigration, told the Nassau Guardian that it seems MINNIS is comfortable making pronouncements without providing an explanation. He added that after months of being on lockdown, Bahamians deserve to know why they are being cooped up for another holiday weekend.
I am not comfortable that we have a full enough explanation as to why the beaches on those islands are closed for that weekend. So I can have a dinner party on Thursday night in my house, Friday night in my house, and have 20 people, because that's what the regulations say. I can go to church. I can go to a beach in Luther with 5 people. But I can't go to a beach in Grand Bahama or Nassau, anywhere else. It doesn't fit in the mosaic of what we are trying to achieve.
And that's not all. Simonet further opined that closing beaches is a public relations nightmare for the tourism industry.
But we advertised ourselves as a safe environment, to say it is perfectly safe to come to the Bahamas and have a holiday, therefore enticing people to come to our shores. And then we turn around and say the beaches in Nassau are not safe. That's a PR night, a public relations nightmare for me.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
PLP Senator Dr. Michael Darville raising concern over whether the undocumented migrant who tested positive for COVID-19 was processed at a government complex in Freeport, Grand Bahama. Darville told senators this morning that the matter has sparked concern among civil servants working at the C.A. Smith complex.
There's the issue of the recent COVID-19 positive illegal immigrant who was brought to the C.A. Smith building in Freeport for processing. No, I said it. I said illegal. I'm sorry, illegal. I'm sorry. I said illegal, but okay, if it sounds like legal, it's illegal. Who was brought to the C.A. Smith building in Freeport for processing, along with what I understand, and I stand to be corrected, 29 other detainees. And this morning, some of the staff who work on the first floor of the C.A. Smith building are very concerned about their working environment and the fact that the area was not sanitized.
After Darville raised the matter, no one on the governing side responded to his statement or challenged it. The C.A. Smith building houses the Department of Immigration, among other government offices. On Wednesday evening, health officials announced that COVID-19 case number 106 is a 20-year-old undocumented migrant. The ministry has said the young man is in isolation. Case number 105 is a 33-year-old female of Grand Bahama with no history of travel. She's also in isolation at home. The cases came 1 week after the Bahamas welcomed tourists for the first time in months. Prior to the reopening of the borders, the last confirmed case of COVID-19 in the country was on June 14th. The last confirmed case on Grand Bahama was May 5th. Meanwhile, more than 200 tranches of government bonds were listed on the Bahamas International Securities Exchange today, allowing trading of government bonds for the first time on the public trading market. Finance Minister Peter Turnquest called the feat historic, saying it falls in line with the government's strategy of critical reforms.
This is another milestone in the evolution of the Bahamian capital markets. It makes good a key component of our overall initiative to strengthen public debt management framework and promote the development of the government bond market. In the long term, it will help to reduce the government's overall funding costs associated with the issuance of these securities.
This modernized infrastructure provides context for the improved transparency and efficiency in both public and private sector debt market operations. It offers a more enabling environment in which mature private firms should be able to raise financing going forward.
BIZEC CEO Keith Davies said after 20 years and 5 different administrations, he's glad to see government finally come on board. He added it will help the government to obtain more efficient market-determined pricing for its securities.
This is very personal to me and an achievement that I celebrate with all of my colleagues, all of the employees, directors and shareholders of BIZEC. And I want to congratulate the minister publicly with a touch because that would have only have happened because the minister made it happen.
Over 28,000 people have expressed an interest in coming to the Bahamas since the country's borders reopened on July 1st, according to Senator KWASI Thompson, who broke down the numbers in the Senate today. George O'Bain reports.
Senator KWASI Thompson revealing travel visa application numbers in the Senate. According to Thompson, there have been over 28,000 international travel visa applications thus far, with 16,000 in just 9 days.
The system is processed internationally 28,733 applications. There's been 16,054 applications, and that's just on the international side. That's not even the domestic side. 16,054 applications were created since the 1st of July opening.
Thompson revealed the electronic travel health visa process will soon be getting an added security boost.
The Bahamas is one of the first countries to provide an electronic health visa, which requires a negative RT-PCR COVID-19 test. The test must be uploaded. It is also reviewed by a unit, and persons then receive an electronic response. This will soon evolve to the use of the blockchain or a blockchain solution for added security.
Grand Bahama recorded 2 new COVID-19 cases on Wednesday. Thompson pleaded with Grand Bahamians to be careful and to stay home as much as possible.
Enjoy your independence at home.
Reporting for our News, I'm Georgia Bain.
The sister of a man who was found dead in a graveyard is distraught over his death. She says her older brother was a family man who didn't deserve to be killed.
To know someone took his life so recklessly, it hurts.
38-year-old Charlotte Williams-POITIER broke down in tears as she spoke about her brother, Fred Williams. The 45-year-old was found dead in St. Joseph's graveyard back on June 30th with severe injuries.
It's a lot of good memories about him.
POITIER described her brother as a family man who was loved by many. He was also a lover of animals, and his pet dog stayed with him until the end. His death came just 3 days after a major family celebration.
He was my favorite brother. He was a protector from when I was small up to even when I get married. 3 days after he passed, 3 days after I got married, he passed away.
Tragedy seemed to follow the man as his 17-year-old daughter was killed in a car accident nearly 7 years ago. The woman says that experience left Williams in a depressed state.
Once in a while you see him with his little bottle in his hand, he drink like gin and water probably to get over there. So he was a very loving father.
Williams also leaves behind a 17-year-old son. His sister says he had an item stolen from him in the days leading up to his killing. The family is hoping for an arrest to be made as soon as possible.
No one deserves to take another person's life, no matter what they do. That's what you have the law for. You know, if you have a problem with somebody, let them be innocent until proven guilty in the court of law, and let the law deal with it. So it's hurtful.
Still to come on our news, Waterloo assures government that protocols are being followed. Stay tuned. A day after the establishment was called out by the Prime Minister and Parliament, management at Waterloo is speaking out tonight, assuring patrons and the government that social distancing protocols are being followed. Kyle Joaquin has more.
Your temperature check, and then you'd have to hand sanitize. Once you hand sanitize, we let you in properly. But before we do, we also get your contact information.
A busy holiday weekend ahead. Waterloo has become the place to be on the social scene. However, General Manager Kenny Mackey insists they're taking all the necessary precautionary measures, checking your temperature, getting your contact for any possible contact tracing, and numerous sanitizing stations.
We also do not allow people on the property without a mask, period. Right? If you don't have a mask, one will be provided for you when you come at an additional cost. And then as you walk around the property, we always remind you to please keep your mask on. In here, we could hold about 300 individuals according to our square footage. So we worked it out with our square footage and all of our tables being 6 feet apart. We have about 290 seats at tables, and we have an additional 50 seats at the bar, but we have them going to use 30 seats at the bar.
When he spoke in Parliament Wednesday, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert MINNIS singled out the establishment, particularly after seeing videos of what appeared to be a crowded area on the outside. Well, Mackey took us to that area today where he explained how they're ensuring people have no choice but to be spaced out.
When you sit down and you stand up on the stage itself, it creates an atmosphere that everybody is close together, right? So it's just perspective. But if you were walking through the crowd, you still have significant space. So what we do is we assign tables for all of the groups, no more than 6 at a table, as defined by the Ministry of Tourism and their guidelines.
The property has signage on just about every wall. And while they are allowed to use the indoor spaces like their speakeasy, they have been closed, pushing everyone to the outside.
So what we're doing now is we're standing inside a space that we have access to use since they open indoor spaces, but we still choose not to use this space. And of course made a significant capital investment outdoors that we'll show you soon in order to host more people outside.
And with a long holiday weekend ahead, Mackey is reminding patrons that while you will have a good time, you will also be required to follow the strict social distancing measures. But for now, reporting from Waterloo for Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Thanks, Kyle. Well, the controversial decision to close public parks and beaches this weekend prompted some families to push their Independence picnics to today. Jillian Gray has that.
Ahead of the holiday weekend, families gathered on the beach to soak up some sun before the beach is closed for the next 3 days.
We brought them out today so they could enjoy themselves. I promised them I was going to bring them to the beach, and so this was the day we chose before all these other things we heard about. And so my uncle is enjoying himself in the water along with my son and my grandson.
Turquoise cool waters provided a needed escape from the heat for many families who all say they've been longing to get back to the beach. The closure of beaches from Friday to Sunday was pegged as a necessary move by the Prime Minister. However, former Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands said the chance of spreading the coronavirus on a beach is low to moderate. It was not just swimsuits, floaties, and flippers, though. Today, some Bahamians came to the beach just to enjoy the cool breeze. Travis Bodie and his bandmate moved their practice to the seashore. Feeling patriotic, they both came out clad in Bahamian shirts and offered a free concert to beachgoers.
Beaches is to die for, you know, and they enhance the beauty with music. But between what you could see and what you hear is just so amazing. So we came out here. We grabbed some snacks and, hey, you know, people stopping by. If you go look in the back of me, gentlemen just come off lunch break and he just enjoying the music and, you know, it's the Bahamas, man.
Richard Rahming brought his kids to the beach for the first time since beaches have been open. Both he and musician Cephas Brown said the holiday weekend will be a quiet one.
I'm just going to be chilling, you know, me and Travis we just be doing our thing all day, so I think that's the only thing. That's how I see my independence celebrating, you know. Everything will be locked down, so that's music, you know. Music clear your mind.
This one is more than likely be a quiet independence celebration. Spend at home with family and friends. That's mostly family, because, you know, you really can't go anywhere.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
When Our News comes back from the break, high school seniors prove they are virtually unstoppable. Stay tuned. Welcome back. The Ministry of Education hosted its first national virtual graduation ceremony this week to celebrate hundreds of graduates who faced many setbacks due to COVID-19 in their senior year. Giorgio Bain reports.
We can live in a world that we design.
The virtual ceremony was a star-studded event with local and international talent such as Das Quay, Julian Believe, Bodine, DJ Overdose, Sawyer Boy, and Lenny KRAVITZ.
Congratulations, you did it. Now break off running. Run and don't look back. And while you're running, remember that you are the solution to someone's problem.
It gives me great pleasure to be able to reach out to all the graduating students of 2020. I want to say congratulations, class of 2020. You did it.
Class of 2020. Throughout the islands of the Bahamas, you made it. Times were not always easy, and certainly this year could not have been anticipated But you held on, you stayed focused, and completed the goal. The world awaits.
The 2020 graduating class was surprised to see keynote speaker Nicholas Johnson, the 2020 valedictorian of Princeton University, whose father is Bahamian. He shared these words with the graduates.
This is the most important and crucial period of your lives. For what you do now and what you decide now at this age may well determine which way your life shall go.
Minister of Education Jeffrey Lloyd thanked parents, guardians, teachers, and faculty for staying the course despite the challenges.
Despite the social and emotional and economic challenges forced on you by the hurricane and the coronavirus, you've made it, and we're very proud of you.
Prime Minister Dr. Hubert MINNIS also congratulated the students, telling them that they are needed to build a new Bahamas and urged them to take advantage of free tuition at the University of the Bahamas to achieve that goal.
Dear young people, we are going to need you to help build a new Bahamas after COVID-19. So, the country needs you to prepare yourself for the world of work by pursuing earnestly a college education, on-the-job training, or work experiences. We need you to take on new responsibilities as citizens, employees, entrepreneurs, and dreamers and builders of a new Bahamas.
Reporting for our News, I'm Georgie O'Bain.
A track star joins the UB Mingos. That's coming up when our news returns. The University of the Bahamas scores a local track standout for the fall semester. Marcellus Hall tells us more.
Well, since becoming a university, University of the Bahamas has now had its sights set on building an athletic program. A big part of that will be attracting and continuing to build through local athletes. In order to do that, they'll have to convince them they want to stay at home. It seems as if the athletic department has that sight in mind, as they've now scored one of the top track and field athletes in the country, Paige Stewart. University of the Bahamas Mingos signing Queens College sprinter Paige Stewart for the upcoming fall semester. Stewart, who won the silver medal at the 2020 BISS Track and Field Championships in the 100 meters in a time of 12.79 seconds and the 200 meters in 25.97 seconds, is a Path Youth CAC champion. Mingos head coach Edna ROLLE adding that he sees Stewart as a great addition to the program and hopes to continue to strengthen the program, while Paige says it was an easy choice.
Being at home in a comfortable environment and to continue my career.
It means a lot, particularly for the girls where I'm most weakest, I would say. A person like Paige coming into one of our top female sprinters coming out of the high school, second at BISS in 100 meters. I think she will be a good addition to my sprinting program. It helped with the 4x1. I think it's a good idea to get someone like Paige.
So the building process will continue piece by piece. University of the Bahamas now hoping this will be the beginning of many more top athletes to come. Reporting for our news, I'm Marcellus Hall.
Thank you for joining us for Our News Tonight. To catch our news on the go, download the RevGo Play app. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Jared Higgs. Have a beautiful evening, Bahamas, but stay with us. On the Record with Jerome Sawyer is next. That's going to be followed by the 47th Independence Celebration.